now 9:30. I will call the November 10th, 2020 meeting of the Millcreek Township Board of Supervisors to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board of Supervisor meetings are now being televised live online via Go Live via youtube.com, www.millcreektownship/meetings, and recorded by WQLN for viewing on Spec Channel 1024 and youtube.com with closed captioning available. Members of the public may attend in person in the General Assembly Room. However, total occupancy is limited to 25 persons and masks are required. Persons who wish to offer testimony at any hearing or to offer comments during the public comment portion of the meeting, but who do not wish to attend in person, must contact the Township Secretary Cheryl Williams at 814-833-1111 or email at swilliams@millcreektownship.com no later than 24 hours before the scheduled meeting to make arrangements to participate via telephone. Next up, public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Is there anyone present that would like to make public comment? Okay, hearing none. Approval of the minutes from our October 27th, 2020 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 27th minutes.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Approval of the bills. We have a batch of bills in front of us. Any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Request to close First National Bank account. Mr. Zakrzewski?
Yes, this particular account was set up when we were first receiving monies from the sale of the Water Authority. It was the account that was set up to receive the funds, the initial payment on that sale before we had the investment account set up. Subsequently, we've been receiving the funds, the annual payment from the Water Authority, Erie Water Works, directly into the investment account. So this account is no longer needed. It's got a balance of about $1,250, and my recommendation is to close this account, move the balance of those funds into the investment account, because ultimately it's going to become dormant because there's no activity on it otherwise.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve this request to close this particular FNB account?
I'll make a motion to authorize Mr. Zakrzewski to close the account.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Our anxiously anticipated 2020 third quarter financial presentation. Mark?
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, ordinarily we had this in October, and it would have been ready in October, but I know our evening meetings tend to run a little long, so and for whatever reason, these meetings run short, I don't know, whatever. There's the financial report through September 30th of this year. When we look at the revenue, we're going to come in close to budget, probably a little bit under. We're going to be a little bit short on real estate taxes. We should be right on the money on EIT, mostly because last year we didn't set the this year's EIT balance at the same rate as last year, and that ended up being fortuitous given the fact that so much income tax revenue will not be generated due to people being off work during the time that we were restricted from March through at least May. Some people into June. Some people are still not back to work. So that would have been problematic, because the budget's about $800,000 less than we received last year, but we're on track to hit that $7,350,000. We'll probably be a little bit short on LST, because that's on people that are working in the township that aren't residents. So if you're not paying taxes, you're not working here, you're going to lose some, but we've also gained some on people that are working from home in the township. So small loss is probable there.
So Mark, I guess, just as I know a lot of municipalities are talking about budget shortfalls, and what you're saying is we kind of a conservative estimate to begin with, and so that's why we're not seeing that kind of shortfall that
That
other
is correct.
municipalities may be seeing.
Yes. When you compare to 2019, revenue is, you can see we're $300,000, roughly speaking, behind last year on EIT. So that bears fruit, given the fact that we were well over estimates last year, pretty much so on track for this year. The next slide is looking at expenses, and we're actually under budget on the public safety, and that's due to the fact that when the budget was put together last year, we did not have a resolution to the police contract, and in order to make sure that we would not end up under budget on whatever was settled on the contract, a 2.5% raise was anticipated for the budget. We ended up settling for no increase for this year, and so therefore we're ahead of our spending for police wages are below where they would be because of no increase for the officers for this year. The rest of the expenses had pretty much so flexed in relationship to some of the revenue reductions. We've got much smaller numbers in Parks and Rec for programs we didn't run. The revenue's down, but so are the expenses. And also, too, we have received aid in the first round from the county at just under $200,000 for projects that were unanticipated at expenses, such as the extra sanitation, the masks, the PPE, and all that kind of stuff. So we have not seen any major budget shortfalls for added expenses this year. And in comparison to last year, we look pretty similar when you look at the various slices of the pie. We'll go through these real quickly. We're right on track on salaries. We're pretty much on track on health insurance. The other benefits, that's unanticipated unemployment. We don't generally budget for unemployment, and that relates mostly to a former supervisor collecting unemployment for this year, and legal's way down relative to budget. Planning development, everything is pretty much so on track. They're a little bit over on their health insurance, but that's on a departmental basis. When we look at the entire township, we are below budget on health insurance for this year. Some of this will come back in as much as there are stop-loss payments. The insurance company reimburses us if we end up with a claim over $105,000 on any one individual, and I suspect there's at least one person there that we're waiting for a stop-loss payment on. I know we did get a payment in October that wouldn't be reflected in here for stop-loss. Public safety, like I said, this is where we're way under budget on health insurance, about $1.16 million. Salaries are below because the increase that was anticipated but not there. And then on the fire department contributions, that's a timing thing. They are generally lagging a quarter. They have to turn results into us before we will issue them their LST money.
Mark, just a quick question on the health insurance. I mean, that comes down to a luck of the draw, really. I mean, we're self-insured, so it's just a matter of how much is used. It's not so much we've changed anything that has created savings, or is it more just the way it worked out this year, less employees have utilized it?
Well, the way it works is when we put the budget together, we come up with a sort of an as-if amount as if we were self-insured, and that's how we calculate how much our expense will be for the budget.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we actually go through the year, the payments we're actually making for the various departments for their actual health insurance costs. So what it means is that we are actually seeing some benefits from things like the Pharmacy Benefit Manager Program, RX Benefits. Our rebates are up, and our actual spending on prescription drugs is down, even though the total volume of drugs has not necessarily changed, and those are good things.
Okay.
So, and actually, we just received a payment that's going to represent about 28% rebate on the payments the benefits we paid for in the first quarter of this year. And these lag about 2 quarters, so we're starting to see some real firm results from the having our benefits in there, making sure we get the discounts that we're allowed and not overpaying for drugs.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Public Works, salaries a little bit under budget, health insurance a little bit under, snow removal expenses under because we don't buy salt in the third quarter. Generally, I mean, I think we're pretty full from last year, and actually they wouldn't necessarily do that unless we had balance due on the contract for the previous year. We're now starting a new contract. The salt rates for next year are about $2 a ton less than they are this year. So that will be a nice savings when we have to start buying a large amount of salt. Public services, basically everything on track there as well. Parks and Rec, their salaries are under budget. That's mostly because like I said, the people that would have been working in the summertime on the programs, we didn't have the degree of programs, so we didn't hire the same number of people. They're a little bit under on their health insurance, and they're close. That's mostly due to, once again, unemployment benefits. Sewer revenue fund is a little bit short on the revenue, but relative to budget, and that's being investigated. Operating expenses are close on budget. There were some increased costs from the city of Erie. When we put the budget together for the year, we don't have the final numbers for the upcoming year, so we've got to get a best estimate. We're a little bit off on that estimate for this year. Administrative expenses are pretty much so on budget. And this is just a chart showing where all that stands. In terms of capital plan, we had a budget of about a little over $8.5 million, and we've spent about 1.3. One of the biggest things in here is it's a timing deal with the multi-purpose path to the peninsula. I had that all being paid out this year when in fact we've only will incur the design costs, which is about $250,000 versus the $4 million of the total project. That project will be spent pretty much so in 21 and 22, as opposed to all being thrown in this year. The other aspects are relatively close. That number will come up a little bit by the time we get to the end of the year. So our real number for the budget was overstated by at least $4 million. Any questions?
Mark, I can't recall, in the capital plan, do we put our paving operations into the capital plan, or is that?
Yes, there's a portion of that that's in there.
So that 1.29 includes
It does not include that payment because we haven't made the payment yet.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I guess the final bill is just now been received. I don't think we paid the first bill until, it might have been in October, because I know I've sent the information off to our municipal rep so that, because we try to get all this stuff wrapped up as much as we can before we get to the end of the year, so that if we don't get our reports in on time, we don't get our liquid fuels money on time.
Well, I guess my question is, when we look at the total budget number of 8.5 million, I know that includes the DCED grant for the multi-use trail. Does that 8.5 million also include state liquid fuels?
No.
Okay, so the capital plan doesn't include paving, the paving projects then?
We substituted some of the balance of the trail to the paving plan.
Mark, what I'm asking you is that this budget only includes the general fund portion of the paving plan?
Yes.
It doesn't, where do we track the state liquid fuels then?
That's in the liquid fuels fund. Which is, I don't have that in this presentation.
Gotcha.
Any questions? Any questions from the audience?
I don't have any more.
Everything, no.
No questions from the audience on the third quarter finance? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8 on our agenda, bids and quotations, snowplow and frame. Gary?
Good morning, gentlemen. Sewer is seeking permission to purchase a snowplow and frame for a pickup truck. Quotes were received from Forest Park Garage for $6,055. This is a Western brand plow, and Wagner Power and Plow Services for $6,009. This is a Boss brand plow. There's a difference of $46 between the two plows. The rest of the township plows of this size are all Western brand. And to keep things consistent and being able to swap the plows out if one should get broke, we'd like to go with the Western brand plow from Forest Park. Excuse me for a second here. This item was in the Sewer Department capital budget, underline 810, machinery and equipment. $6,000 was budgeted for this item, leaving a shortfall of $46. We would like to use $46 out of the reserves to cover this cost. We had $791.71 left in reserves from the previous purchase of 2 chain falls, and this would leave us $745.71 in reserves. It would be my recommendation to purchase this plow and frame from Forest Park Garage for $6,055.
What is this? Where is this primarily used, Gary?
It would be for our pump stations. We now have 45 of them, so it keeps 2 trucks busy to keep those plowed out.
Okay.
And I guess so the sewer bureau plows their own parking lots, is not the facilities bureau or streets bureau that does that?
Yes, it's just sewer does their own stations, yes. They're mostly driveways. They're not large areas.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this proposed purchase?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I guess my only question is for Mr. Shaw. I know the quote, this is not the lowest quote. Is Gary's justification enough justification to warrant not picking the lowest quote?
I think so, based upon the use of the concept of being able to switch it out with other snow plows and the ease of use of that, I think as you balance that out, it probably ultimately is cheaper in the long run to go with this quote than with the other plow.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes on that. Next up, we have another item under bids and quotes, a tilt equipment trailer. Gary?
Yes, this is also the sewer department seeking permission to purchase a tilt equipment trailer. Quotes were received from Lazy Bee Trailer Sales for $12,135 and Fabens Trailer Sales for $11,995. The recommendation of Joe Yatzer, our Bureau Chief of the Garage, is to purchase the trailer from Lazy Bee Trailer Sales for the following reasons. The gross vehicle weight is higher on this trailer, and it also carries the load between the tires, not over the top of the axles, thus giving us a lower center of gravity when we're hauling equipment around.
I guess I have the same question for Mr. Shaw. This is a little more significant of a difference between the quotes. Is it
Yeah, I think
defensible?
here the rationale would be is that the specifications for what you're looking for and what you're looking for to achieve are different between the two, trailers. Although they're both trailers, they both offer different options or different specifications, and it's a matter of selecting, which specification I think that makes the most sense. So I think that you're somewhat comparing apples and oranges here in terms of the two trailers. Although they're both trailers, they have different characteristics, one of which is more desirable than the other.
Right. Well, I guess the recommendation, it just seems like these last two, both these purchases, it seems like we advertised for one thing and then developed more specific specifications after the fact. I think in the future, we should make sure we have the specifications so that these retailers know what they're quoting us on and can give us apples to apples and not be caught afterwards saying, well, what you quoted us wasn't actually what we wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So maybe making sure that bureau chiefs coordinate and come up with more specific specifications so we can get quotes on, they're actually competitive on the same item and not quotes that are on different specs. Does that make sense?
I would agree.
There are monies in the sewer department capital budget for this item. The same line item, 810, machinery and equipment. There was $7,500 budgeted for this item, leaving a shortfall of $4,635. We would like to forego the purchasing of the jetter nozzles this year, which $15,000 was budgeted for, and use monies out of that to make up the shortfall of $4,635 out of this amount. This would leave $10,365 in that reserve, along with the $745.71 from the chain fall purchase would give us a total of $11,110.71 in the reserve account. It would be my recommendation to purchase the trailer from Lazy Bee Trailer Sales for $12,135.
Okay, my question is, okay, so Gary, the actual difference in the two quotes is $140, right?
Correct.
Am I reading that correctly? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't hear you say that amount, or I don't see that.
I don't think I put it in there.
Okay.
I apologize.
I think I got a little confused when I saw the note about the $700, or where did I see that? Or the 700, okay, yeah, 745.71 from the chain fall which you referenced for the snow plowing frame as
Right.
well, okay. But I just wanted to be clear on the difference in the two, okay,
Yes.
$140, okay. All right, is there a motion to approve this purchase of the toll equipment trailer?
I guess my question is, I mean, the jetter nozzles, we don't need those this year, or what?
We can get through without them this year, yes.
Were those resubmitted for next year's budget?
Yes,
Yes.
right, there,
Mhm.
yes.
The amount is $12,135 from Lazy Bee Trailer Sales.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet,
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan,
I vote yes.
and I vote yes. Next up, we have a public hearing on a petition requesting a change in zoning classification. Diane L. Baldwin for a property located at 3558 West 26th Street, now zoned C1 local commercial, asking for a 170-foot by 320-foot portion of the lot fronting West 26th Street and Coy Road to be classified to C2 general commercial. Index 357-022, County Index 33-53-224-1.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Waldinger.
Good morning. My name's Isaac Baldwin.
Oh, hold on one second. Thank you, Isaac. Hold on one second.
Yes, at their regular meeting of Tuesday, October 6, 2020, the Millcreek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this rezoning request. I would also like to note that the future land use map calls for this particular area to be corridor commercial. Corridor commercial is a zoning district that doesn't, corridor mixed use. Corridor mixed use is a zoning district that doesn't exist at this time, but it's anticipated there would be a combination of residential and commercial uses, so this rezoning would fit.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Okay,
My-
could you
my-
state your name and address, sir?
Yeah, my name's Isaac Baldwin. My home address is 1305 Hillcrest Drive, Erie, PA 16505. We are asking for this so we can use the building for its basically present use, what it was used for. Hungry Howie's had a variance to be able to run the business as a restaurant. This variance was very specific to them. It was literally put in there as a Hungry Howie's business. So we cannot use that variance anymore. The building's completely set up as a restaurant slash, come takeout place. We'd like to continue to use it as a restaurant. The reason we're doing the whole frontage is if we decide to sell the property in the future, it would make it more saleable, to have commercial zoning across the front of it. We don't have any plans right now to do any kind of sale of it, because the property is doing well for us.
Okay.
Mainly, it's just to get this property to be able to use it for the current setup of the building.
Okay, sir. Any questions for Mr. Baldwin?
Yeah, I noticed the rezoning includes, from what I'm looking at the aerial, 7 or 8 of your mobile homes. You're looking to rezone those, and those are going to create non-conforming uses. Are you vacating those?
No, we're not gonna be vacating those. Those are gonna stay.
Mr. Waldinger, I thought procedurally, if we rezoned if someone requests rezoning a property, they have to discontinue the old use within a certain number of
Okay,
days.
I did not know that.
I don't know, Mr. Waldinger, is that the case or not?
If it's rezoned, they would become existing non-conforming uses. They are currently non-conforming uses because that portion of the property is now zoned C1. So they exist as non-conforming, it would just change the non-conforming.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else here wish to comment on this request? Thank you, sir. Okay. Do I hear a motion on this petition?
I guess procedure, do you need to close the hearing first formally, Mark?
Yes, please.
Well, no further public comment. I make a motion to close the hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Olet,
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan,
I vote yes.
And I vote yes to officially close the hearing, and now a motion on the request itself.
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Arlett,
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan,
I vote yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, number 10 on our agenda, proposed ordinance 2020-8, ordinance of Township of Millcreek, Erie County, Pennsylvania, temporarily amending Chapter 129, Taxation, Article 7, Volunteer Service Tax Credit, Section 125-50A of the Millcreek Township Code, to reduce the participation points required for qualifying volunteers for the 2020 tax year. Mr. Shaw.
Yes, thank you. Currently under the Millcreek Township Code, township residents who volunteer as for fire companies and nonprofit emergency medical service agencies can obtain certain tax credits if they have a certain level of participation points. And the code currently identifies those number of points as at 150. A motion was made last month by the Millcreek Township Fire Commission to recommend reducing that point level for the year 2020 based on a recommendation from the fire chiefs as a result of the impact that COVID has had on their operations, reducing their opportunities for training. If you recall, various resolutions were passed reducing the number of calls that they can go on and so forth, and the data that the fire chiefs collected showed that approximately it was about a 50% reduction in the number of calls that they've had to date. So the recommendation was to reduce the number of participation points from 150 to 75 solely for the 2020 tax year. And that's the purpose of the ordinance, is to do that temporary modification.
Okay, this would go through the end of the year?
Yeah, so it would cover for the year, the tax year 2020.
Okay. Okay, sir. Any other questions or comments on this proposed ordinance? Do I hear a motion to approve this ordinance 2020-8-8?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Mr. Arlett?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Number 11 on our agenda, Resolution 2020-R62, a resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R-20 and the Municipal Records Manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records. We have before us the Millcreek Police Department dash cam videos to be deleted between November 11th and November 24th, 2020, due to reaching the end of their required retention period. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Arlett?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Resolution 2020-R63, a resolution to approve the application for Erie County CARES Municipal Reimbursement Program, round number 2, and authorize signatories. Bless you, sir. Mr. Zaszewski?
Yes, the county is open, this is the same program that we received funds from earlier in the year. This is all CARES Act funding that the government had set up. The initial round, we received about just under $200,000, $199,000 plus. And this next round was recently opened because there were still funds available. Our application is going to be around $5,000. And the program requires that a resolution by the township to be supplied as part of the application process, and it's an electronic signature kind of form, so that's the reason for designation of the treasurer to sign the application. So this is just in order to get the next round of funding, it's available, and we should grab it if it's available.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Any questions on this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-R63.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I'll vote yes. We have another resolution, Resolution 2020-R64, a resolution to accept as a public street of the Township of Millcreek, Grouse Hollow Drive, from west line of Grouse Hollow Phase 2 to the south line of Grouse Hollow Phase 1. Mr. Waldinger.
Yes, thank you. The developer has constructed Grouse Hollow Drive, which is on the east side of Millcreek, off of East Gore Road near Cider Mill. It connects from East Gore Road to where Amy Avenue terminates. The road has been constructed. It has passed its 18-month warranty period. It's been inspected by Millcreek Township and GPI. Everything within the roadway is complete as it should be. So at this time, we would recommend that the township accept Grouse Hollow Drive in both Grouse Hollow Phase 1 and Grouse Hollow Phase 2 as a public street of Millcreek.
Thank you, Matt. Do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2020-R64 as stated?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Number 14, Open Edge Credit Card Agreement.
Yes.
Mark, you have some information on that?
Yes. We're working on trying to accept credit cards for payments of township items, streetlights, whatever. This credit card agreement would allow that to happen, but there are a variety of questions that came up in review of the applicant or the agreement, and the solicitor and I have not had a chance to discuss any of them, so I can't at this point make a recommendation and ask that this be tabled till the next meeting to allow time to review the comments.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Do I hear a motion to table this agenda item for the Open Edge Credit Card Agreement?
Mark and
Oh, you have a question, John?
Mark, would that be tabled, you think probably resolved by the next meeting, or should we?
Yeah, I think you
should
can
we
table
remove from the
to the
agenda,
next
or-
meeting.
I'll make a motion to table until our next regular meeting on November 24th.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Number 15, Stormwater Management and Maintenance Agreement. Skilled Nursing Facility, LDP, 5535 Peach Street, Millcreek Manor Developer. Matt?
Thank you. Yes, Millcreek Manor is the developer of this skilled nursing facility on Peach Street. It's an addition to the existing LECOM Senior Healthcare Center that is there now. They have submitted a stormwater management plan to Greenman Peterson Incorporated, who is our contracted third-party reviewing engineering firm. They have certified that the stormwater management plan meets the requirements of our ordinance. In addition, Millcreek Manor has submitted a stormwater maintenance agreement to the township on the township-approved form and with the proper signatures. So at this time, I would recommend that the Board of Supervisors approve the stormwater management plan for the skilled nursing facility and approve also signing the stormwater maintenance agreement with Millcreek Manor.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions or comments on stormwater management and associated maintenance agreement? Do I hear a motion to approve this action?
I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Olet? Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Number 16 on our agenda, we have a 2021 flex spending limit increase. Mark?
Yes, the township has a flexible spending plan. This is a plan whereby the employees elect to defer a portion of their paycheck, pre-tax for medical expenses. This could be used for like co-pays, prescription drug co-pays, medical equipment co-pays. The plan is said to be, is indexed so that year over year, there are potential changes to the amount that the maximum amount the employees can defer from their paycheck. Currently, it was $2,700. Next year, it's increasing to $2,750. And it would be my recommendation to amend our plan to allow the higher $2,750 deferral limit. I don't believe anybody's close to that current limit, but it allows the opportunity in case somebody has something coming up like orthodontia work or something.
Okay. Any questions on this? Do I hear a motion to approve the increase to the flex spending limit for 2021 from 2,700 to 2,750?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Okay, number 17, communications. We have a new hire request from Diane Lyons in the administration department. This is for police dispatch. Daniel Kramer? At a rate of $19 per hour with a start date of November 23rd. Daniel comes to Millcreek with 5 years dispatching experience with the Erie County Department of Safety and the 911. He's also a part-time firefighter and EMT with Westridge Fire Department and a volunteer with Lakeshore Fire Department. Do I hear a motion to approve this new hire in dispatch? I believe this replaces is this for a retiree? Or
Yeah,
I think the person quit, the one that this would be a replacement for.
For what, Mark? I
They,
didn't hear.
they quit?
Okay, I think it was a resignation.
Yes.
So it's filling a vacancy.
Okay, filling a vacancy recently created. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Dan Kramer in the
Okay.
position of dispatcher.
Do I hear a second?
As I've noted, I believe we ought to be transitioning our dispatch services to the county. I voted against filling the position previously to authorize the filling of the position. But I have no intention of making some symbolic negative vote for Mr. Kramer, so I will second the hiring, since you gentlemen would like to continue providing municipal dispatch services. So I will second.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Olet, your vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, your vote?
I vote yes.
I will make it unanimous and vote yes. Okay, I believe we have another hiring request. This comes from Diane Lyons, Administration, new hire fleet maintenance.
I don't know why we have mechanics either. We should probably just have, kidding. Go Gary got all serious for a second.
Mr. Olet, you would like to handle this?
Sure.
Or Mr. Berkmeyer?
From our HR department, a recommendation to hire Jeffrey Berkmeyer as a fleet maintenance mechanic at a rate of $20.02 per hour. Jeffrey's start date would be tomorrow. Jeff comes to us with experience from Cleveland Brothers, Berkmeyer Trucking, and Forest Park Garage. He has a Class A CDL and a Class 7 inspection license. And I'll make a motion to approve hiring Jeff Berkmeyer.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I'll second.
Mr. Olet, your vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Is that it for hiring?
Yes.
I believe it is, okay. Next, we have a training request from Public Works, specifically the Sewer Department. Gary?
Yes, sewer seeking permission to send 5 people to a continuing education class at the Ambassador Conference Center, 7794 Peach Street in Erie, on December 2nd, 2020. The cost is $95 per person with a total cost of $475. This is a one-day class and travel will be by township vehicle. The 5 people attending will be Mark Wells, Matt Stevens, Bert Mayo, Clayton Cifelli, and Keith Lawson. These hours will be for maintaining their sewer licenses. The class is put on by Pennsylvania Rural Water Association, and monies are budgeted in the sewer department budget for this training under line 623, seminars and training. $2,500 was budgeted for this year. This item is $475, leaving $2,025 in reserves. It would be my recommendation to send these 5 gentlemen to the Pennsylvania Rural Water Association class for the total cost of $475.
Thank you, Gary.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Well, my question is, I'm a little surprised that it's an in-person conference. Most of these things have been shifted online. I mean, do we know if there's limitations or social distancing requirements or mask requirements? I mean, I just...
There are in the flyer, the seating has been adjusted, so they don't allow so many people up there, and they do maintain the 6 feet with a mask.
Yeah, I can't recall. Do we have a policy about the number of employees per vehicle or anything like that?
We do. We try to put them in single people, but if there's more than one, we require them to mask up. So there would probably be, I'm going to say probably 2 trucks to go up there.
Madam, just want to make sure our guys are doing the best they can and not get sick, that's all.
Yes.
Is this in that big ballroom?
Yes.
Okay. Been up there for training before. It's a pretty sizable location. Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
How about yes?
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a request from Chief Scott Height from our police department. Kearsarge Fire Department Chief Matthew Parker has nominated Ted Duncan as a special fire police officer. Mr. Duncan, who resides at, I can't believe they put his address, and I'm not real comfortable giving that out, but it's here. He does reside in the township. And he has been nominated by Fire Chief Matt Parker, and he has completed, it looks like, his background check and his basic fire police certification. Chief Parker recommends nomination of Mr. Duncan as a special fire police officer. If approved, Mr. Duncan can receive the oath of office at the convenience of the board at a later time.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Is there a second to this?
I'll second.
Mr. Olet?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
How about yes?
And I vote yes. Okay, our executive session was held November 5th, 2020 in the township building here. Mark, do you have anything further, solicitor?
Nothing further in mind?
Okay. Do we have any citizens in the audience to be
If I
heard?
could, real quick, Mr. Chairman, I don't think you asked the treasurer whether he had any communications.
No, I had nothing further.
I just figured with his earlier
So, yeah.
presentation, he completed anything. Mark, Matt, Gary, anything further?
Nothing.
I was remiss. Thank you. Okay, citizens to be heard. Anyone in the audience like to be heard? No? Maybe afterwards. Okay, no citizens to be heard. I would like to add that our November 24th meeting will be a day meeting, 9:30 a.m. In lieu of our usual evening meeting, due to that Tuesday being during Thanksgiving week. So we will be meeting at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, November 24th. And then our one and only meeting in December will be Tuesday, December 15th, and that is a night meeting at 7 p.m. That is our only meeting in December.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would add is, it's our intention to have the preliminary budget for 2021 presented at the November 24th meeting. So, is that correct, Mark?
That's correct.
That's a can't miss then. All right. Very good. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We are adjourned at 10:19 a.m. Thank you.